Did you know that we have channel memberships now? If you'd like to help support this channel, get some exclusive Kawabana emotes to use in the comments, as well as an exclusive badge by your name, click that join button now to find out more. Every bit of support really helps. Thanks guys. On September 10th of last year, a Ni channel user shared 2 images in a thread titled, "I found a terrifying car by the seaside." As you can see from the pictures, this white car with no wheels is covered pretty much entirely in graffiti, a lot of it poor English, and surrounded by various objects. There are pot plants, single shoes, Pokemon toys, hygiene products, water bottles and food cartons, and perhaps weirdest of all, a piece of wood with the words, "Tomb of a Showa High School Graduate." The Showa era ended in the 80s, so the insinuation here perhaps being that it's the grave of someone in their 50s or older. No matter how you look at it, it's weird. Trying to decipher the English written all over the car doesn't really help much either. There are phrases like, "Game over Japan," "Outcast of homeless car," "Outcast tomb, down Japan," "No hope, no dream and kill time, but freedom," "Japan is old system, keep out Japan and lonely." The Japanese isn't much better, with things like junior high graduate versus high school graduate versus university graduate, and homeless foreman. From this post alone, there isn't a lot to go off. The car's number plate is from Shizuoka, and that's about it. Later posters in the thread questioned if it was really a gravesite, whether someone had died there or taken their own life there. Another poster recognized it as the Ohama Kaigan parking lot in Shizuoka, and it's here that things get interesting. If you go into Google Maps, you can see that the very same car is there in the street view, the date listed as October 2020, a month after the Ni channel post. But even stranger, if you change the date, you can see that the car is still there in August 2019, although here it's not covered in graffiti or surrounded by strange things. It's just a plain white car in the exact same spot, without tyres. Seems it's been there for a while. If you go back to January 2018, it's still there without tyres. And if you go all the way back to January 2015, that same car is still there in the same spot, although here it has tyres. Going back to 2012 shows the spot is empty, so the car parked there sometime between 2012 and 2015, and then never moved again, lasting all the way up to the end of 2020 at least. Between 2015 and 2018, it lost its tyres, and sometime towards the end of 2020, the car was trashed and graffitied. So, just what exactly was this car, and what was the story behind it? On September 22nd, roughly a week after the Ni channel post, a TikTok user shared a video of the car, followed by another the next day. There's not a whole lot new in there, other than a few remarks about recognizing the parking lot, and someone else pointing out that an old man who wore a schoolgirl's uniform apparently lived in the car. This man, it seemed, was rather infamous in the area for being a little eccentric, but otherwise harmless. And if it's true that this old man lived in the car, then it appeared that he had been living there for at least half a decade before the car got trashed. But by who? That we still don't know. A user on Twitter then shared some more photos of the car on September 30th, roughly a week after the TikTok user, with the English, "Pimp my ride." Here, someone in the comments mentioned seeing that same car on his way to work each morning, but he had no idea what the deal was. He claimed to see a gang of girls hanging around at one time, which just made the whole situation even stranger. Could these girls have been the ones who defaced the car? It's a possibility. Someone else posted, interestingly enough, the school uniform person. When the original Twitter user asked this person if they knew the owner of the car, They claimed that the car belonged to an old guy who wore skirts. They had seen him running around carrying logs, and he seemed rather powerful. Comments about this old man, who apparently liked wearing skirts and uniforms, popped up in several places, so again, it seems he was well known in the area to locals, but that's about it. Talk of the old man and his graffitied car seemed to die down somewhat after that, at least until another tweet was posted on December 16th, 2020. I'm extremely worried about the old man who lived in the camper van parked in the Ohama Kaigan parking lot along Route 150. There were police and firefighters everywhere, and it seems like they've removed his car. This same user posted in the replies that they had seen the old man in the area up until recently, with the car making a slight fuss in various corners of the Japanese internet after getting trashed. It seemed the police were finally called in, and they removed the car. What happened to the old man who lived in it after that is still unknown. One reply in the comments of the final tweet mentioned that news of it appeared in a local Shizuoka paper. It appeared that news of the car being removed made the papers, but no information other than that was given. What happened to the car, and more importantly, the man who lived there, became a mystery. There were fears that perhaps the old guy had been murdered, or fallen victim to some other horrible prank. Or perhaps he was moved on after news of what happened to his car made waves on the internet. From the information we have available, it would appear that the old guy had been living in that car, parked in the same spot for the last 5 years, at least. And then, sometime around September of 2020, his car was vandalized. A gang of girls were seen near the car around this time, but there's no proof that any of them were involved in this. They could have just been looking at it, like everyone else. It seems likely that the man's car was targeted by a gang of youths, perhaps once they realized the man was living there and had been for quite some time. Much of the writing doesn't really make sense, but the overwhelming use of admittedly bad English suggests a group of young kids who perhaps find it cool or unique. It's possible this was done by a single person because while there are at least 3 different markers used on the car, black, green, and red, they all appear to be written in the same hand. It seems to be a lot of work for a single person, especially taking everything else into consideration, but maybe they had help while they were writing. Ultimately, this one has ended in mystery. There appears to be no further information on what happened to the old man or the car after the police and fire brigade removed it. Was the old man himself okay? Was he merely moved on because his now vandalized car was a nuisance in the public parking lot? As of this video going live, there is currently no further information, and considering that it's a small, rather localized thing, we may never find out either. But what do you guys think about this one? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you again next time.